I am Shannon C. Smith, spokesperson for Florida Prepaid College Savings Plans, and I'm excited to lead you through our webinar today. We have a wonderful guest, Kevin O'Farrell. He is Chancellor of the Florida Department of Education Division of Career and Adult Education. Hi, Chancellor. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hey, Shannon, it's a pleasure. I'm so glad to be able to be here, and thanks to the Florida Prepaid team as well for having us.
Absolutely. So if you're watching, thank you for being here. We're going to keep the presentation brief because we want to honor your time. But if you have specific questions, you can comment or you can actually email us info@myfloridaprepaid.com and we will get those answers to you in a timely manner. We're really excited today to dive into a topic that is just increasingly important and relevant, and that is career and technical education opportunities for Florida students. There are so many options now for students after high school and even during high school to really study everything from automotive to aviation to computer programming, healthcare. The list is really long. And at Florida Prepaid, we are seeing more of our students using their prepaid plans toward this career and technical training. But we also know that families have a lot of questions about how their plans can apply to that path and really how they can be used in that way. So Chancellor O'Farrell, fortunately, is here to help us understand really what the landscape looks like right now for career and technical education in Florida, including some of the program offerings and, frankly, really incredible earnings potential. I will also say that the timing today is really great for a couple of reasons. We are in our open enrollment window for Florida Prepaid, and our prices this year start at $29 a month. That is the lowest we've seen in over 10 years. And it is also National Career and Technical Education Month, so really good timing. As we move through this discussion, I'll provide a little more detail about Florida Prepaid plans as it's relevant, in particular for those career and education paths. All right, let's get started. Chancellor, I would love for you to just paint the picture for us of what does career and technical education look like in Florida today, maybe how it's grown in its offerings and its popularity.
Absolutely. Well, Shannon, first of all, you already stole the thunder for February, right? It is National CTE Month, and I do want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in today as we kind of really celebrate career and technical education. But let me just start by saying that you as parents, you are the real influencers in helping to shape your child's future. The decisions that you help them make today will open up incredible doors of opportunity for tomorrow. And really, when we talk about career and technical education, or CTE, it really is a fast, affordable, and very impactful pathway to a strong career, one that keeps our communities thriving. And it's no surprise that kids and parents are really catching on to that. In fact, here in Florida, we have seen incredible growth in CTE enrollments. Right now, we have over 800,000 students in the K through 12 space enrolled in CTE programming, with another 480,000 students in post-secondary. So those are students at our Florida College System institutions or our tech colleges that are really choosing hands-on, career-focused education. And you know, the opportunities here in Florida just keep expanding. When you look at the growth of CTE programs statewide, it's been almost 60% since 2017, 2018. And so we now have about 9,276 programs offered all across the state of Florida that really provide students that opportunity to gain those real world skills and secure the in-demand jobs. CTE is not shop class anymore. I don't know about you, but when I was in middle school, that was basically it, right? We had shop class. But now it's so much more. It's manufacturing and engineering and cybersecurity and aviation. It's all of these exciting career paths that lead to really high-tech, high-skill, high-paying careers.
I am so excited to hear that. I think that when I hear these offerings, it is, like you said, so much different than when I was in high school and planning for my next step. And I certainly did not think of technical schools as a place where I could become a pilot or learn to become a computer whiz. What types of salaries can people expect from some of these paths?
Oh, great. Well, listen, this is exactly what's happening, right? The landscape is totally changing. And for a long time, you know, our focus was solely on just being college bound. But then we began to quickly realize that there's a growing demand for this kind of hands-on skills and career-focused education. And so you asked about salaries, right? And so CTE really opens the door to a wide range of really high earning salary opportunities, many with just unbelievable numbers, which I never knew of when I was a student. And so now to be able to tell students about this and to tell parents, I think they can really begin to see there are some great career options. You know, your student could train to become a truck driver or a line worker, earning between 50 to 60K a year. Or you could pursue a career in computer systems as an analyst or a project manager, and you could be making $95,000 to $100,000 a year. And really the best part about that is that all of these careers can really be launched in as little as 12 to 18 months, often with very little debt. So it's really setting your student up for success with a high paying, high skill, in demand job.
So I love that, especially as someone who went to a four-year university, did not have a prepaid plan, and came out working as a print journalist for like, I think it was like 30 some $1,000s a year. Okay. So I am a little old, so it's been a while, but the point being, you know, those trade salaries that you just mentioned are in some cases, in many cases, higher than what a four-year degree person may be earning. I think, you know, what we also know that the one-year university plan would cover, for example, the way our plans work is you choose a plan, you are basically paying at today's prices to cover future tuition. And the guarantee is that no matter how much that tuition goes up, you've paid in those monthly increments and it's covered. A one-year university plan, I think in many cases would actually cover most, if not all, of the tuition at one of these trade and technical schools. So you really have a scenario where you're not having to actually pay as much as a four-year university degree, but your child is coming out potentially earning, you know, more than what they would with that 4 year. And I think it's important to note every person's different. The path that is great for one is not necessarily the best for another. And so I just love that we have these offerings in our state. I think, you know, we also hear from a lot of families who they've not started saving yet for college because they cannot afford for those 4 years, right? They look at that overall price tag and they think, oh, it's just too much. But the research shows us that a couple things. In surveys of parents nationwide, most only expect to cover like maybe half of a child's total cost, not the full, you know, total package of what it would cost. And the thing about our plans is that they really are designed for multiple scenarios, because we hear a lot from families that say, like, you have young children, right? So you know that you don't know what they're going to want to eat for breakfast tomorrow, much less what they're going to want to do when it's time to graduate from high school. And so we remind families that we had to build our plans to be flexible, because we want you to save today, but we also know that you don't know today what path your child will take. And using a prepaid plan for that CTE path really can be one of the most cost effective based on actual tuition costs versus earnings and the salary information that you just shared. So thank you for that. I think that's very eye-opening for a lot of us who are watching. If you, again, don't know how our plans work, I encourage you to go to myfloridaprepaid.com. We have a pricing calculator, and it does allow you to put in the age of your child and their birthday by birthday, and it will tell you what each of our plans would cost based on their age. I always encourage families to look at that and just choose what you can afford today, because you can always add on later if you decide that that is what you need to do. The plans cover tuition. It's guaranteed by the state of Florida. These are tax-free earnings, so much better than just putting it in a bank account. And the guarantee there, again, is that you are locked into today's tuition rates to cover future tuition. So I remind people that really it makes your tuition savings inflation proof, because you don't have to worry about how much it's going to go forward. Our plans this year are starting at $29 a month. That is a savings of $850 for a one-year plan, or about $3,400 if you were to stack 4 of those plans. So incredible savings. And $29, I went, Chancellor, to Target the other day. That is a box of diapers. I checked. Or it's a couple of streaming services or a few coffee shop visits. So this is really incredible news, I think, at a time when families are paying more for things. And, you know, frankly, they look at the cost of a 4-year university, even though ours are incredibly affordable, and it can still be pretty overwhelming. You do have school-age children. So I want, you know, I think we probably have parents that are watching today and their kids are in elementary school and they're like wondering what they're going to grow to be. And not every child is going to benefit from that traditional 4-year degree. Do you have advice for families about, like, when is the right time for a child to start exploring the career and technical path, you know, or just careers in general? Because I feel like even some of our middle schools are starting to do that. So what does that look like in Florida right now?
Yeah, Shannon, that's a great question. You know, here's the key. The key is engaging students early. You know, when you think about it, you know, I talk about this a lot with businesses, that that eighth grader, that middle school student in 5 years and their 5-year strategic plan could be the tech that's working for their business.
Wow.
That's in eighth grade. But that eighth grader is only 3 years removed from being that fifth grader. And so when you think about what it takes to get someone to build that curiosity, you really want to spark that at a young age. So we are trying to really help facilitate that across the state so that we can build that skilled workforce that really shapes the future. And one of the ways we've done that is the state has actually purchased a career readiness platform. It's called Xello, Xello, and it's available at no cost to all students who are in public schools and public charter schools here in the state of Florida. And what it does is it offers a comprehensive suite of resources that really support career planning and work-based learning for students really from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, and those individuals who are involved in adult education programming. And
Wow.
what makes this so exciting is that Xello is this interactive exploration tool that allows students to look at a whole wide range of career options. And they can look at these beginning in elementary school through gamifications and allowing a sense of career awareness, to beginning with career exploration, to really career planning. And we're excited that when it comes to the Xello platform, that parents can be involved in this as well. So parents, you have access to your student's Xello profile. And this allows you to see, what they're looking at, what they're interested in, how they're building those particular career pathways. And also there's some great career games that you can experiment with in there. In fact, I've already done that myself, and I love it. I wish I had this kind of tool and resource when I was in middle school or high school, because I think it would have really changed perhaps the trajectory of what I was looking at. It definitely would have broadened my horizons and shown me all the options that I fully had, not the narrow options that Shannon, for quite frankly, you and I had when we were in school. So if you're interested in checking that out, I want to encourage you to connect with your school guidance counselors, your school counselors, or you can visit Xello, xello.world/Florida to make sure that you have access, because this really is going to be a game changer here in Florida.
Wow, I love that resource. And I think you're right. The landscape of what is available to students is so different than what it was. I think I probably might have ended up in the military or something. Just based on my personality. Did it tell you you're supposed to be a pilot or something? But I love that resource, and you have such an interesting viewpoint from where you stand of just this entire world of career technical training. Do you have, as we're closing here, you're getting that front seat view. Do you have a favorite story maybe of a student that you've met, or, whose kind of arc just illustrates the possibilities of career technical trade?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Shannon, thanks for that question, because really at the end of the day, students are at the heart of everything that we do. They are the stars of the show. They're the real champions. They're the ones that we want to make sure that they are empowered and able to make informed decisions. And, when I think about, student experiences and student connections, I think about one student. His name was Edgar. He was a student from Wakulla High School up here in the Panhandle, who was enrolled in an auto mechanics program. And Edgar was born with a hearing disability, but he embraced every challenge with determination. He never let this disability ever define his potential, as he pushed forward and he thrived in a CTE program. And through his high school's automotive program, Edgar gained the skills and the confidence to pursue his passion. And now he's enrolled at a local technical college. He's working his way up because eventually he'd like to own his own shop one day. And his mother was a huge champion for CTE. I mean, she supported all three of her sons as they pursued career and technical education. And so it just goes to show that CTE is really life-changing. And if you're interested in more about CTE programs and where they are in your area, I really encourage you parents to visit our website, which is gettherefl.com. That's gettherefl.com. Click on the Future of Work Florida tab. You can explore career videos. You can take a career quiz. You can dive into the endless opportunities that really are awaiting your students.
I love that. And I think you mentioned parents, right? And the support of parents. And we haven't really touched on that yet, but it's probably worth noting that as parents, part of our job is not only to save for their college, right? And to make sure they've got those resources, but also to be open-minded because as we've said a few times, college paths don't look like they did when we were considering college. And it doesn't mean that they're not great for your child. And so I love that idea of the parent having that support system for the child. So thank you so much for sharing your expertise. This has been super informative. And I think a lot of our families have learned a lot today. So thank you. If you are watching, just remember we kicked off our open enrollment window. It's February 1 through April 30th. And this is our annual period when we are locking in those prices for this year. And you can set up your plan for future tuition. We encourage you to use our pricing calculator, like I said, and that is at myfloridaprepaid.com. You can find our pricing calculator and you can check out this year's prices. Thank you so much for being here today.